Welcome, beautiful witches and healers and deep down believers in magic. You know, I've been saying that for so long, but lately I find myself almost saying, welcome, angels and healers and deep down believers in magic. But, in my experience, witch is a broad term, and basically we're just healers, and we come from the angel realm, in my understanding, and working with all dimensions that I've experienced and the entities and energies that come through. So, welcome to our third quarter moon reading. So, today is a Wednesday. It's 10:40, but the traffic has been crazy. I'm like, it's a Wednesday. What's going on out there? So I apologize. I had to open a few windows, but I'm so excited to share this medicine with you guys today. And for those of you who've never been here, welcome. My name is Tallulah Kelly. I'm the magical medium, and welcome back to those of you who keep coming back. Thank you so much. Thank you for subscribing and liking and contributing in all ways. I'm in deep gratitude for that. So much is changing and transitioning for me as well. I'm excited to share some stuff with you guys, and when Spirit allows me to, I will share with you. But I've been having some massive breakthroughs. I hope you have as well. But I've been having these massive breakthroughs, and it's been really powerful. Hold on one second. Okay. Earlier today, when I was setting this up, I felt my landlord's energy, and I was going to message him, and say like, hey, I'm working today, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, they told me not to worry about it. And just now I saw him walking by, and I was like, oh, and I paused it because I was going to go talk to him, and they said, no, just pause it, take a break. And he looked like he was rushing anyway, so all is well. Anyway, so getting back to that, sorry, I know it was a second for you guys, but it was a few minutes for me. So I want to refocus. That's so interesting too, because I felt so good to just start when I did. And like, what am I in? Just a few minutes? You know what I mean? Like if I had waited just a few minutes more, I most likely would have talked to him. Also, Bubba is here, 222. I looked down. Bubba was showing me 222 so much, or I was seeing it so much. And then the day she passed, I looked at the clock at 222, and that's when she told me she was going. And I was like, oh my gosh. And this, Pink song came on, and it just like everything shifted and changed, and I knew it. But I'd been in the la 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 la, la. No, she's fine. She's fine. She's fine. I'm gonna feed her. We're gonna eat. Everything's fine. Everything. I was in my like, whoo, 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 like couldn't deal, like Warning Will Robinson, breaking down. Not good. Not good. I was breaking down hard. And then the next day, when we laid her to rest, we were in the mountains, and my phone was on airplane mode, but I was recording videos, because we were in nature, and I was recording videos. And then I felt Bubba, like it was almost like I felt like she like went through me. And when I looked at my phone, it was 222. It was at 222. So I was like, wow, in 24 hours, it went from her being alive to us being on the mountain, like putting her to rest. Like it was just. So I feel like if you see 222, like I feel like that's Baba talking to all of us. Oh, I'm starting to get emotional. Baba, what you doing, girl? Because this moon phase, the third quarter moon phase, is the 7th moon phase, and it's about transition and forgiveness. When she was going, she kept saying, I have to go. I can't go where you're going. And I've gotten so frustrated with that because I don't understand. And I realized in the last like 24 hours, so much has changed in my life. And I just had this huge breakthrough moment. And then my mom came through, and I was like, holy shit. And a lot of questions, I've been talking to Spirit, and I was just like, just send me the breadcrumbs. Or I'm like, I know, I'm just like you, right? Like I want to know too. I want it all up front too, right? Like I want that. I need that. However, sometimes Spirit gives it to us because we need it at that time. And sometimes they keep it back from us because it has to be like learned. It has to be grown through. Do you understand? You know what I mean? Like I had to go through all those experiences. If they just gave me the answers, I would miss the journey. And the whole point of all of our lives is the journey. And for some of us, it's coming to a head. Like, it's no joke. It's coming to a head, and they are calling us out. And, you know, some people, like yesterday, I was out and about in the stores and stuff, and even Alder and I was like, I need a break. I'm like, I need to get away, you know, from this traffic and this place. I'm like, I gotta, and long story short, he was like, sure, you know. And so we went and had like a little mini nosh picnic down by the water. And I just, even walking through the park, I would hear one of my spirit guides say, you know, tell that elderly lady with her dog, she has a beautiful smile, you know. I mean, just the way she lit up. I mean, I love doing that. Like, it's part of my job is to be a muse and to be the bringer of light, the bringer of love. And if you found yourself here today at this specific reading, so are you. And for some of us, Spirit is saying, we can't be, you know, not, you know, I don't like to use the word can't, but it's really difficult. So let's change that. Thank you, Spirit. It's really difficult to be the bringer of light if your environment, whether it's at home, your workplace, friends, family, all of the above, you know, whatever is your story, insert here. You know, when we are constantly being pulled to the shadow, I feel like I'm meant to go this way. When we are constantly being pulled to the shadow and it's not our story, it starts to feel heavy. It starts to feel like you're like a drone. You know what I mean? You're like a robot or a zombie. You're just like going through the motions, and Spirit saying, that's not why you're here. That's not why you chose to come. And this is a huge wake-up call for all of us. We need to transition out of our old world and our old thought patterns so that we can move into the light more, into our heart space more. But the forgiveness, you know, this is the 7th moon phase. Oh, when I looked down, it was 7:25. Oh, July 25th. Okay, so I'm hearing, so July 25th. Okay, let's write that down. July, let me bring my pen. July 25th is going to be a big day. What's on July 25th? Oh my gosh. So I'm going to put a heart around it. And I'm going to put 3rd quarter moon reference. June. And we'll know. Because July 24th is the new moon in Leo. Holy shit. Which is fire, man. You know, like, also, it's the Lionsgate portal. You guys, some shit's about to go down. Alder said something to me yesterday, and I'm going to say it with as much grace and love as possible, but he said something to me yesterday with such, like, I've known this person for so long. Oh my gosh, I just saw August 19th. They want me to write that down too. Okay, I saw 8/19. Okay, so August 19th. Okay, so I'm just going to put a heart there. I don't know what that means. Oh, you guys, the 8/8 portal is on a Friday this year. And it's a 9-year. So that's a 7. That's a 7. That's about like a cycle and a completion. Oh my gosh. And it's the day after the 7th. Okay. There's going to be some serious shit that's going to happen, you guys, between July 25th and August 19th. Actually, no, excuse me. Pardon me. From now, from this week, this 3rd quarter moon. I mean, tomorrow's Juneteenth. Friday is solstice. Summer solstice and winter solstice for Southern Hemisphere family. And it's also Cancer season. So we're going to be going out of Gemini season, you know, and then the new moon in Cancer is a week from today. So there's going to be a lot that's going to happen. So we're going to go from the air energy to, oh, and I just saw, like, they showed the American president, like puffed up, like air energy, like, you know, like ego. We're going to be stepping out of that and going into the water energy, which is going to be more of the heart center energy. And then we're going to be going into the fire energy of Leo, and we're going to watch a lot of shit fucking burn away. So I'm saying this because yesterday, Alder and I hadn't seen each other in a while, and like a week maybe. And so you know, it's kind of fun when we do, because we have like these kind of like updates, these like moments that are like, you know, like things that have happened in the week, or things that have happened, you know, in politics or the world, and then like we share things. And so he just like was on fire in like the most beautiful way. And you know, he's a triple Gemini, so he's still in his Gemini energy, the Gemini moon. So like I can like feel it, you know, it was really intense. But his moon is fire, Sagittarius, right? And Sagittarius are all about freedom. So he said, we were sharing stories of things that we saw over the weekend with the protests and the parade and everything. And I was just like, I'm like telling him like these gross things that came through. Like, you got, if you were at Sacred Sunday, I'll put a link below. Oh my gosh, you guys, we were in there for almost 4 hours. That was awesome, but it was intense. Every time I tried going, it was like more people were coming in. I was reading. Oh, it was intense, but I took a day off Monday. It was nice. And I got back into it yesterday. So things are good. But anyway, self-care, self-care, self-care. Because as of right now, we're still technically in the waning gibbous, which is the 6th moon cycle of reflect and release. We are technically still in it, because I always like to look at the time, and in real time, we're about 2 hours away from the 3rd quarter moon actually like going into their full like peak phase. And I asked Spirit if they wanted me to wait and do it in the afternoon. They were like, no. And then I saw that they specifically wanted me to do that. And they're like, you know, we're in the 6th going into the 7th, but if you add the 6 and 7, it's 13. And I know some people would be like, oh, that's stretching. But it isn't. It's the angel energy, and it's the number of the goddess and the divine feminine. So things are shifting whether they like it or not, you know. And there were so many people that like were at the parade or in the parade that had to be there. Like, it's their job, like they had to be there. They work for the government, and like if the president wants a parade, they're gonna get a parade. You know what I mean? Which I didn't see all of it, but I was wondering if I'm like, why wouldn't they do all the branches? Did they do all the branches? I don't know. I mean, I could see if they were just honoring the Army and like, but I would think they'd do at least a sliver of, you know, the Navy, the Marines, you know. Who am I missing? I'm so sorry, you guys. My family was in the Navy, so, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, but it's just some of the stuff that I saw was just so awful and gross, and just, yeah, like I just, and I also got this weird vibe, by the way. This is a sidebar, but you know me, like if it comes through, it comes through. By the way, 1229 is our angel number. It also felt like a birthday, and I just opened my calendar up to literally the 25th. So I'm going to put another heart on 1229, and then I will go back and I will reference my calendar to remind myself of that, because that could be something too, about completion. Because, you know, I told you guys in one of the other readings, I had some vibe that something was going to go down around the World Series. But anyway, getting back to Alder, I'm all over the place because there's so many things coming through, and so many of your your energies want to speak, like your, you know, people want to speak, my people want to speak, all of them want to speak to us. But anyway, so we're talking about certain things about the parade and the protests and stuff, and he goes, did you see the Handmaid's Tale thing? And I go, no. I'm like, what? And he's like, oh my gosh. He's like, dude, he's like, and I go, like, there was like a group or something. He goes, like, a group? He's like, they were marching through. He goes, there was a bunch of them. I was like, hundreds? He's like, I don't know. He's like, it was, he goes, I only saw a snippet of it. But anyway, I'm paraphrasing the things that he was telling me. So I was like that. And I go, that's fucking awesome. I'm like, exactly. You know what I mean? It's like, even that, like, that had to come out when it came out to like wake women up to be like, do you want to go through this again? Do you want to go through this cycle again? Do we want the patriarchal bullshit again? And it's like, yeah, this is your fucking turnout, dude. There's more people who want freedom. There's more people who want equality. There's more people like that came to this fucking United States of America to have a new world. No fucking monarchy. That was the whole point. Like, it's just so weird. And I get what he's saying. Like, he wants to change things, but he wants to change things for the oligarchy energy. I mean, it is really gross how much he like really looks up to like these, you know, these leaders, and he thinks like in his mind like they're great leaders. And somebody else was like, well, maybe he's doing that like because he's trying to show, you know, that like if we're like that too, you know, then he can negotiate better. Maybe he knows something we don't know. And I'm like, maybe he does, you know, maybe we will be the ones later. But you know what tells me that that's not true is the way that people are around him. his wife, and I don't, you guys know, I mean, I don't normally do this. I'm like, I don't gossip, talk out of school, like fucking talk about like this shit, but they're trying to show us the examples of humanity right in front of us. You can see the disdain. This isn't a loving wife. This is someone who, it's like, what is he gonna fucking put her nudie pictures out there and she doesn't want her son to see them? Do you know what I mean? Like, who fucking knows what he has on her? Who fucking knows? I don't know. But I don't, the thing is she'll stand up for him, and she'll, 1 minute she's like, oh, he's awesome, he's great, he's blah, blah, blah. And then there's like other times where it's like, he's like trying to hold her hand and she's like, don't even fucking try it. It's sad. It's kind of sad to me actually too, because I'm like, I feel like he wants to be loved so bad, but he just does it all the wrong way. Do I think he's a maniacal, no, I actually just think he's a very wounded boy who was never loved, who never, and most of the patriarchal energy is, or they went through horrible things, or they witnessed like their father raping their mother. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many fucking layers to humanity. And these people who are in places of power, whether it's in government, or you're a fucking influencer on TikTok, right? Like, it's everything. It's all the same right now. It's all the same. People want to be famous so bad that they will sell their fucking soul to get what they want and what they need. And who knows what people signed on what dotted line. When I watched this movie yesterday that Spirit called me to watch, and at first I was like, it's kind of cheesy. It's not really, I'm like, there's got to be something better for me to fucking watch than this. But it's funny because I really got into it. And then at the end of the day, it's like, you see that the layers are being pulled back. And if the fifth dimensional energy of planet Earth that was designed for the Earth School for us to learn, for us to like become who we are, for our souls to collectively co-create all of this energy, the free will was our gift. Abso-fucking-lutely. However, they always knew that if we gave free will, that, humanity would go to this, like, whatever. But they, as it was happening, they were seeing how humans were growing, how the souls were growing, how the existence of space and time, and wherever we come from, whatever universe, whatever, like, this is a matrix, but it's a beautiful one. It's a fun one. 1721. That is an angel number, 1721. Okay. You know what I mean? So I feel like these are the kind of things that they are trying to tell us right now. To look at things through a new lens, through a new scope, to see things from a different vantage point completely. And I can tell you right now, with as much resonance as I possibly can, that there is so much love and light here. And that demonstration wasn't just like, ha ha ha, we won. That demonstration was, there were millions of people that were fighting for love and freedom. There were more, they just didn't go. Like, I got really sad. Alder was like, oh my gosh. He's like, did you see the, down, he's like, or something. He's like, did you hear about the protests in our area? And I was like, no. And he's like, oh my gosh. He's like, I couldn't even get downtown. He's like, it was crazy. Now, we live in smaller towns, but he was just like, that's what he was so surprised. We're on the Olympic Peninsula. He was like, it was really cool. So we're sharing all this information. Right? I know I'm leading up to it. And I was like, yes, on the Handmaid's Tale thing. I'm like, fuck yeah. I'm like, why? I'm like, because this earth is a feminine energy. This is a place of growth and expansion and love and light. That's where we come from. And it's about learning. It's not to the depths and the dregs of the darkness. That was just the free will that has just gone too far because of people using power, people murdering people, and just making it worse and worse and worse and worse and worse and worse, because they know it's karma. They know that, like, whatever, but they don't care. They're just going to keep coming back. They're going to, reincarnate that, whatever. It's all the story. It's all part of it. And then we're talking, and all of a sudden he just goes, without skipping a fucking beat, without going, I think blah, blah, blah. It was like not even skipping a beat. He goes, he's going to get impeached. And I was like, Oh, I said, oh gosh, Alder, I'm like, I was like, from your mouth, the goddesses, God, creator's ears. And then I thought, he is so like directly connected like that. And I feel like we all have been feeling like that for a long time. But I think this was just what happened over the weekend, I think, is what they were waiting for. When I mean I feel like people in the Democratic, because I've been like, man, I'm like, why are they so quiet? I mean, they're not quiet. I mean, Bernie's out there and, the acting and the sittings are definitely not quiet. But, and I'm talking like, Democrat and, senators and congressmen and stuff. But the truth is, both sides have shade, both sides have shadow, both sides, whatever. And I feel like right now, when, here we are, we're reflecting and looking back at like the history. And I know that a lot of our tribe members are not from the United States, but I feel like, this is the United States is a metaphor for humanity. And we've been talking about this a lot because they want us to see the breakdowns and the constructs of like what's actually happening, as opposed to the fucking fake news, smoke and mirrors, dark magic, using, illusions and whatever. When it's like, what? We are made from love. We were founded in love. This planet was founded in love, and it was given free will. So the rest of it has gone to where it is. And now it's like Gaia, us, Earth Angels, whatever. It's like, we're like, enough, like the adults are here. And I can tell you from the littles that have been in my energy, that I have been privileged to know in recent years, they are definitely going to be the rule breakers, the change makers. And I've had some experiences in the last several years with questions from littles that are like so profound, where I'm like, dude, like, and I remember being that way too. Also, I feel like I meant to bring this up again. If you don't remember your childhood, most likely you were a starseed, because a lot of starseeds don't remember their childhood. And the things that you do remember and retain, you were meant to, because it was part of your like work. It's kind of like if you were in school and, they test you to see, I mean, I think grades are kind of silly. I mean, it's good to have a grade, but I don't think it should be by age. So let me back that up. Like, if you're going to have a school system, I think it should be like every year you test at the beginning of the year. Ooh, when I looked down, it was like 22, it was going into 22. Hi, Baba. But I think it would be really profound if they tested at the beginning of the year and then tested at the end of the year. And that it's not like you're being held back, but it's like there are still some things that you need to learn, but like maybe you stay in that group that does math, but like I mean, I'm just saying, okay, let's just say that you're growing up and you are in second grade and math, for some reason, you're struggling with it, but reading, you excel. So like maybe you stay in second grade for math, but like you go to fifth grade for reading, like that kind of system, where it's like, back in the old days, when they were like, when you're old enough to go to school, you went to school, right? And especially in like colonial times. So you would have all different age groups in one classroom. And, depending on the retention of the child, that's where they would be. That's why some, families and the teacher would come together with the child and realize, like, the parents would see how they're doing chores at home. The teacher would see how they're doing in school. And they're like, I believe like this is probably the furthest they're going to go. And if they really love running the farm, I believe that they should stay with the farm, but they have some education. You know what I mean? And then some where it's like, you're like a Sheldon Cooper, from Big Bang Theory, right? And he's in fifth grade and he's doing AP, math. It's like, I think that's what they call it, right? And like calculus and like these kind of things, where he's like so far excelled beyond everybody else. Why shouldn't he go to college courses? You know what I mean? But then also there's got to be something there where, he's still staying with people his age so he can understand them if he wants to, right? Or she, whoever, insert your story. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I feel like the world is going more towards that, and people are seeing that instead of this, like, you take these tests, but it's like, oh, you're stupid, or you take this test and it's like, oh, you're smart, instead of just like allowing the, child to become what they were meant to be. We've spoke about this many times, especially if you're finding yourself here right now. If we were growing up in tribes, right? Our elders would see that we had the gift of sight, that we had especially so many of us in this tribe. I haven't done a lot recently, but we've gone through stages where we do a lot of scrying videos, right? Because you guys see things, you're seers, you see things, you see beyond, other people see a piece of wood. That's why I love when I put them on, and then like somebody be like, it's a piece of firewood. I'm like, okay, well, if you want to come from it like that, like, and I feel that kind of cave person mentality, right? Like that, like, it's a piece of firewood, like you're stupid. And I'm like, okay, oh, well, you see a piece of firewood, but let me see what other people see. And then some of you guys will chime in, right? And you're like, I see a wolf, I see an owl, right? I see a man, hiking a mountain, right? It's like, because you see what you see. Why do you think I do all these things? Sometimes, like today, it took me forever to set this up. And I'm like, why? But it's not about me. It's about what you see. It's about, like, what are you looking at? Even this today, this is the side that cracked, and they wanted me to show the side that cracked. And I was like, all right, cool. Also, if you haven't noticed, Toad the Wet Sprocket wanted to come in today, which means we're going to do some individualized messages, which is awesome. But I wanted to do a little bit of channeling and talking from spirit right now before we get into the cards, because they just want us to understand that, things are going to happen as rapidly as they're, okay, thank you, spirit. Thank you, spirit. I didn't even get this until now. They're like, why do you think they are going forward? Like, why do you think they are going forward the way they're going forward? Like, so quickly. They're like, why do you think they're doing that? Because when you're about to do a takeover, when you're about to like start something, you can't just like, they've been planting the seeds for decades, from the TV show to the, you know what I mean? Like, people have been doing things they shouldn't. He's definitely like wrapped up into some dark shit, dark magic, like gangster, like whatever. I don't fucking care what anybody says. Like, I feel that too. I felt that from before. I think he liked his power of like that, being like a Don, you know what I mean? When he had his show and the Donald and like all these things. And I barely say their name, but I send them loving healing energy, because I really saw, like, when I saw them like falling asleep at their own parade, I'm like, yeah, because it's like, is this just something that you wanted to be able to say? Like, is this something that you wanted your kids to be able to like say? You know what I mean? Like, who knows? Like, if that's their dream, that's their fantasy. It's like, okay, well, he's been living in his fucking fantasy for a long time. And now it's like, we're all like, you know what though? That doesn't mean that our fantasies get taken away, our dreams get taken away. So we're fighting back. The people are fighting back. And it's not just about the United States. It is about the world. We are going towards our, the dictators of the world and saying, fuck you, no. We are going to these like male driven, like mine. Who cares about the women? Beat them, cut their clits off. Like, you know what I mean? Like, fucking disgusting. It's like, that is, how dare you? How fucking dare you? How dare you mutilate a woman's body, you motherfucker? Sorry, that was my Southside Chicago Kelly had to say that, right? I remember the first time I found that out, and I was sickened to my core, because I love my little bean, and like, I love my body, and I love being in a female body. And I started masturbating when I was a young age. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't understand what was happening to me. But over the years and looking back, and I had to go through years of therapy of like, growing up Christian, that I was evil and I was a fucking sadist, that I, would masturbate, and just all this fucking dark shit that I've had to like literally crawl through the desert over fucking broken glass, metaphorically and emotionally, to get to where I am today, to be able to even speak about these things without breaking down. There's nothing that's coming out of my mouth that is a slight. It is just to like, meaning like that I'm not going more in depth of the tragedy of it, but I'm saying that is enough. And the women are fighting back. And it made me excited to, hear about that. because, you know, with The Handmaid's Tale, because I remember the first, oh, I got the chills. I remember the first episode that I watched that with Alder, I started crying. I was like, dude, this is creepy. I'm like, this is really kind of creepy. He's like, yeah, I know. And then like the fact that like I've been, you know, moving closer and closer to the Canadian border. And now I literally, like, the only thing separating me and Canada is a body of water. I couldn't swim across it. I don't think anyway. um, I mean, I could maybe if I had to, I don't know. But you know what I'm saying? It's like, I've been saying to spirit, you know, how far is this going to go? How dark is this going to get? And you know, I mean, I saw this thing yesterday where this guy was like, I am not trying to promote fear at all. He's like, but you know, I think people need to pull back a little bit about the like making jokes and the comedy. They're like, his ego is so fragile. He is so like full of himself. He's so narcissistic and he's so precious to himself is basically what he said, that he's like, you know, those are when the retaliations, like the really big ones, happen. So when he said that, I was like, oh my gosh. And I've been feeling like this whole year is gonna, like, we're gonna see more and more and more. And then when I saw Spirit showed me something about the World Series, or around that time frame, the American Baseball World Series, I was like, okay, which is towards the end of the year. And now we just saw this thing from Spirit about December 29th. So 3103, which is also the number 7. Holy crap. So 3103. Okay, I'll write that down. But they don't want us to go at it with fear. That's the thing. 3103. They don't want us to go at it with fear. They want us to go at it with knowledge. They want us to be armed and prepared for what's coming forward. And Alder and I spoke about that yesterday. And I said, you know what? I go, I'm getting this vibe like that something needs to change. And I said, can we just have like a short conversation about like where you feel like you're going and where I feel like I'm going? And we've been dating kind of like, it's like not really romantically. We've just been like hanging out together without putting pressure on it. And yesterday was a really good day and a really fun day, and I felt a lot of good energy. And so they kind of shared with me their like right now, like what they feel right now and their hopes and dreams and wishes kind of thing. And then I took that, and last night I worked with Spirit. And then when I was in my dream state last night, 2 of my guardian angel sisters came to me, and it was so weird. It was like I was singing, and I said something like, oh, that reminds me of Mel. This was an old friend of mine. I go, oh, that reminds me of Mel. And I'm like, and then I started thinking of Mel and Viv, my 2 like best friends, angel, witchy sisters. And we've lost touch. It's been years. And when my phone broke and all that, and I had to get a new phone, all these numbers went out of my phone. Like I lost like almost everybody's phone number I've ever had. It was really bizarre. But then slowly, as I would turn my phone on, numbers would just appear. And I'm like, what the fuck is happening? And so I was like, because they told me, they're like, you know, because I wanted to keep my old phone. And I'm like, I don't want to transfer, you know, my SD card, you know, blah, 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 blah. So he said, you know, you may have things that trickle in. So long story short, both of their numbers showed up like, just like, I don't know, like a month or so ago. It was really weird, like out of nowhere. I turned on my phone and I was like, what other numbers popped up? That was it. So I'm like, I have this feeling that they may wander back into my life, and I really hope so, because I miss them so much and I love them so much. But, you know, sometimes friendships even, you know, we need to take long breaks, because while we're going through things, if we're not going through it at the same time, it can feel like really uncomfortable and it can feel really forced. And if you have a friendship that has never been that way or has evolved out of that energy, it's like Spirit saying, let it evolve out of, you know, and this could be friends, family, whatever, you know. So anyway, long story short, last night it was like, it was so vivid, you know, those kind of dreams where you're like, no, this happened in another dimension or something. But I was in a store in Portland. I think I was on Hawthorne with Alder, and I was like, this song came on and I started singing it, and I go, oh, that song reminds me of Mel. I'm like, oh, dude. I'm like, I miss her so much. And I started singing the song. And as we like walked out of the store, I was like turned around, like talking to him. And all of a sudden, the music was playing, that someone was playing a song, and I turned around and it was Mel, and she was fucking busking. And I was like, dude, what are you doing? I'm like, or no, I didn't even say that. We both at the same time, I go, dude, I go, shut the fuck up. I'm like, I literally fucking just spoke your name, and there you are. It was so cool. So I really hope that means something, but this might be a message for one of you guys too. And then it was so crazy because all of a sudden I heard in her awesome, Southern, accent from Tennessee, from Chattanooga, my friend Viv was like, she's like, y'all, my fucking thumb, man. She was like, and I was like, what? And I looked up at her and she was like, hey, and it was like this really cool moment. She's like, oh, we've been busking, and she's like, my thumb hurts. And I was like, oh dude, it was so cool. And it was such a great moment. And I thought, oh God, I hope they're busking out together somewhere. You know what I mean? Because as far as I know, they both still live in Portland. But anyway, maybe this is a message to you that if you really want to play music, busk. If you want to do readings, go do them at like a park, at a festival. I'm getting like all these downloads. Like, I didn't know why I was sharing that information with you, but as I was sharing the information, all of your like light codes were coming through, and I'm hearing, oh, I just got the chills. And I'm hearing, you don't even have to be good in an instrument. Like, do you remember that scene from the first oh gosh, what's that movie where the girls are in college and they're in an a cappella group? Anyway, and she's like, right? She's like, and she's like hitting things, right? Like she's like, I took the long way around, blah, 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 and right? So it's like she did that with a plastic fucking cup, and she was just like using her hands, and like, so don't be afraid of anything, first of all, but just go and do it. Like, what do you have to lose? You don't even have to set up a thing for money. Maybe you just want to like just prove to yourself that you can do something. Maybe it's to step out of your comfort zone. Maybe Spirit's trying to show you, to just do it. Oh, we're going into the cards now. To just do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Also, this was on the bottom, but I don't feel like it's for everybody. So first quarter moon in Pisces, honor your feelings. I don't feel like this is for everybody, but if it comes up, it does. Okay. So now I got that song in my head, and I can't think of, it'll come around if it's meant to, but you know what I'm talking about, right? Like, and if you don't, then it doesn't matter. And it's, or maybe you love to make food and you want to like do festivals this year. You have to get like food cards and things like that, but it's not that hard actually. Some people say, oh, it's so hard to get, whatever, but it's not. Well, actually, I take that back. Spirit's right. Thank you. They're like, retract. Actually, in some areas it is, some countries it is, but I'm hearing where there's a will, there's a way. Thank you, Spirit. I'm like, is there something else you'd like me to say? And they're like, where there's a will, there's a way. Let your fears dissolve. Exactly. Full moon in Cancer. Now, what did I just say? We are literally 2 days away from Cancer season. And just because this is the full moon in Cancer, this could be like Cancer season is like the season for us to let our fears dissolve. Let them go. Because for a lot of people, the only thing that's holding you back is you. Oh, look at how they had me put that there. Yesterday, I met this angel that was from the Midwest, like myself, and it was really cool. Although I don't know, is Michigan considered the Midwest? I always think of it that it is, but it is on the other side of, but anyway, it doesn't matter. I digress. But even when I'm just trying to like have time to myself, I was like, Aldra, I gotta get out of here. I just want to go down by the water. We're walking through the park. I'm having great, interactions with people. And then we get down to the water, and Alder had like gone to this one area, but I was wearing shoes that I was like, I don't want to walk there. And there was like too many like where I can like hurt my feet. So it's just like, nah, I'm like, I'll stay over here. I'm like, I'll let them go there. I'll go here. And actually I really was enjoying just like being on the beach, like walking by myself for a second. And as I'm walking, this eagle comes in and like lands, and I laughed because I had been taking video. I was like, I need some new video. I'm like, I'm gonna take some video if you don't mind. He's like, no. So we kind of like just were, he was walking, I was walking. And you'll see I made some new videos for this and my other channel, Lula's Labyrinth. There's links on this channel if you want to check that out. That's where more like my artist and inspiration prophet side channel is. But anyway, so I had just put my camera down I've been filming like since we pretty much left the car, walked through the park, went down to the water, and I just turned my phone off. And as I turn my phone off, this eagle comes down and like lands like not that far, right in front of me, And I yelled to Alder and I go, "Look." I go, "The eagle has landed." And I started laughing, because we were kind of like far enough where, he could hear me. And this beautiful angel walks by. I'm not going to say, oh, actually, you know what? I think they would like it because I can help promote their Instagram channel. So Pate, Pate flower, Pate flower. And anyway, so I met this angel, this artist, and it was their birthday yesterday. So happy birthday! And I think it was Julie or Julia. And if you're here, please tell us and correct me. But I was going to go to their channel or their Instagram yesterday. I'm not on Instagram, but Instagram will let you look at it for like a second. But if you try to click on it, they're like, you have to like do the app, but you can like see it for a split second. So, I was going to do that last night and they told me not to. So maybe it's meant for you guys to check them out. But anyway, they live up here as well. And so it was just really funny because when I said that, I saw them laughing and they were walking this cute puppy named Mystical. I was like, oh my gosh, you're kidding me. I was like, it's your birthday. I'm like, what? And yesterday was the 17th, by the way, you guys. And 17 is like a very powerful number for our tribe. So I just thought that was like really kind of crazy too, because I saw them after I saw this other light worker who I told you their friend's birthday is the 17th, who's one of our guardian angels. So it was just like a really magical day all the way around. But anyway, it was just so interesting because here I am. I'm like, I just want some time to myself. And then next thing I know, I'm like talking to them. And then I took a little bit of a walk and then Alder and I sat down and we had our little snack. And then I took more video and then I was like, do you want to get going? And he was like, yeah, because we're just both so busy these days. And I said, thank you so much for bringing me here. It was just such a delight, but it made me realize that between all the things that have happened in the last 24 hours and just to this moment pulling this card, it made me realize what's really happening. Cancer is such a beautiful energy. It's very emotional. They come from the heart. And I feel like Cancer season really helps people open up, and it helps people to go into seclusion, right? Because the crab goes inside its shell. Right? It doesn't have to, I should say the crab lives inside its shell and they bring their house with them everywhere they go. Right? And I feel like it's a good metaphor for us that like, no matter where we go, no matter what we do, there we are. But going from the air energy, I just realized this, Spirit, but going from the air energy to the water energy is really powerful. And I feel like also, it's always the opposite. So I think Cancer's opposite is Capricorn, right? So that would be, let me make sure. So that would be, when was the last one? Hold on. I'm looking at something really quickly. I'm kind of curious. Yeah. So this year, the full moon in Cancer was January 13th, 2025. And it was on a Monday, on a moon day. Oh, Baba was still with us. And the day before it was a 13-day. So that was a 4-day about stability. But I feel like they're having me go back to that. So for some of you, maybe something happened over that time in January earlier this year, or maybe you set some intentions and we're at June and you're like, I still haven't done anything. And maybe they're like, well, it's because your fears are holding you back. Like the only one holding you back is you. That's the vibe I'm getting from Spirit. Let me see. I don't know if they want me to go into the book. Oh, there's a teeny tiny ant. Oh, these little sugar ants. It's like, that's so interesting. So, the ant has been coming up for us a lot over this last year. So work with ant spirit medicine. And I'm hearing community. For some of you, it's just the community. You're living in fear because everything around you, your job, your home, like you're not yourself. It's almost like you're not allowed to be you. Reflect on your priorities. Last quarter moon in Aquarius. So we are in the last quarter moon. in the third quarter moon in Gemini, but you could be an Aquarius, or you could be an Aquarius energy. Not only that, but Aquarius is an air sign. So reflect, let your fears dissolve. They're saying instead of letting the fear rule you, just like focus on your, like what needs to be done to have these dreams like become a reality. I didn't know that's what we were going to be talking about, but I really feel that energy from spirit. Also, like I'm feeling like for some of you, it's the mountains. Like you get your energy from like, see how they're like in the water? Because even though Aquarius is an air sign, they call them the water bringer. Do you see that? I'm going to zone in, right? Like they call them the water bringer. So are they walking into the water or walking out of the water? And I feel like that's what Spirit's saying to you. Are you going to walk into the Cancer energy with your fears fully dissolved? Or are you going to carry it with you? Because I'm hearing like, it's almost like you're creating your own pain and suffering. Oh gosh, that's what Spirit just said. You're creating your own pain and suffering. And for some of you, the story's not yet told. They said, hold on, we need one more card. They're so cute. And I almost feel like this could be for a Cancer in our group too, or if you have Cancer like in your moon or something. Oh, I just got the chills. So it could be somebody with Cancer, with a Cancer moon. Now this was upside down and I haven't really changed anything, and the other ones were right side up. So I want to see what this says. See the bigger picture. That's why it's upside down. You're not seeing the bigger picture. I know Spirit said, some of you are like, you told me to just focus on the now and focus on the now. And they're like, and you're like, but nothing's happening now. They're like, okay, but it's almost like you're missing the story, meaning like, yes, they want us to live in the now, right? But also, do you see how this is like a desert? It's like we've got over here, we've got mountains and water, and over here we have a desert. Oh, and they had me take the full moon of Cancer out because they're like, this is you with the focus, but if it's in reverse, right? Like you're focusing on the now. But they're like, yes, but you have to hold your dreams up high. Like, you know what I mean? That's why people make vision boards until it comes to fruition, because they want to continue seeing it. They want to keep seeing it. They need to know that that's what they're going towards, right? Like, or people who, like, you see a movie with a kid in high school and their whole locker is lined with like all the places they want to go or what they want to do, or you know what I mean? You know, insert your story here, right? Like maybe in your car, you've got like little things around that, like when you're taking a break from work, that it reminds you why you're doing it in the first place. When I was younger, I was so tired of my life. I was so tired of everything. And I'm like, I'm out of here. I'd always wanted to move to Los Angeles. Things in my life didn't go the way I thought they were going to go. And I remember people saying, you're too old. I was 23. And they're like, you're too old. Like, you know, you should have gone already, or like gone to college there or whatever. And I'm like, I'm not too old. So it was like 1995. So I proved everybody wrong. And I was working a Monday through Friday, like 9 to 5 job that I had to drive an hour each way to. And I hated that job. I hated that job. I left a good job in the city. I really did. I had a really awesome job in the city, but I wasn't getting what I wanted. I wasn't moving up the ladder fast enough. I felt like I was being looked over, and, you know, I felt like a lot of different things were going on, sexism, you know, all that stuff. And it was 1993, I think, when I switched jobs. It was 1993 or 1994. And this other job was always like, they were affiliated with my company and they loved my work. And so they would say, you know, if you ever want to leave this place, I can pay you more. I can blah, blah, blah. And I took him up on his offer finally, because I was like, they wouldn't give me what I wanted. And they're like, you're going to go work in the suburbs. And I was like, I would rather do that than like keep going this way. Because the company I worked for was like one of the best like in the country. And I was thinking of, my friend was like, why don't you transfer we had branches all over the country. And they're like, why don't you just, you know, transfer to LA? You always wanted to live in LA. And so that was on my radar at first, but then that guy came in and he just made me an offer I couldn't refuse. So when I was working there, that's when I was like, I'm going to move to LA. And I kept telling everybody I was going to move to LA. And my family, my friends laughed at me, poo-pooed it. They're like, okay, we'll see, because the only people who ever like really moved out of like our town or like out of our state it was for work. So I was like, well, I'm going to try this job first. And it was a different side of the business that I was working. And it was more in the production and like television. And like, I was like, well, that's, where I want to go. And so I was working, it was an infomercial company. And long story short, one of the women that I worked for, she's like, you're so good on camera. She's like, why don't you like go and like do something with this? Like, you should be in front of the camera. And that's kind of how it started. So I kept that job and I announced on New Year's Eve that I was moving the following year to LA. And the more people told me that I wasn't, the more people laughed at me, the more it fueled me, where I was like, oh yeah, watch me. Watch me. Now, mind you, I'm a triple Sag, my moon's in Scorpio, but I was like, watch me, bitches. I'm going to do it. But I needed that in a weird way. I think looking back on it, some of them did it to be jerks, like, because they really were like, because they knew they could never do it, so they were just being mean. And some of them were doing it because they knew me, and they knew if they fucking told me I couldn't, that I would. So I feel like this is a wink wink from spirit. Like, they're like, oh yeah, you can do this. Well, show us that you can do it. Show us that you want it, because your focus right here is on the desert, like that you're never going to get there. Like, it's just, I mean, there's beauty in the desert, right? Like, there's beauty in the desert. And hello, full moon in Sagittarius, I'm a Sag, right? So, I mean, I love this. And I love the message of seeing the bigger picture. But the fact that it was in reverse and they had me showing this, I feel like your magic is going towards like the wrong place. And they're like, no, we want you to focus on like each day, but each day you need to do something towards your goal, whatever it is, even if you're just like talking it into being. But they're trying to show us that we've been told for so many millennia that like our words don't matter, that our, why do you think like witches and all that, like they wanted us to be evil? And because we were the ones that were helping people, giving them natural tinctures from the earth to heal themselves. They spent millions of dollars to get us sick, and then they've had us spend millions of dollars to get well. And people who go through chemotherapy and all that, they're like, I made it through, I'm good. But a lot of people who get cancer and heal themselves naturally never get cancer again. Where the other ones, it's like, oh, what do you think they're doing? They're just killing that, right? But like, it'll come back. It's sick. It's gross. We're all seeing what these governments are doing, and we're like, duh, we're not stupid, right? Like, we see what's happening. Stop treating us like we're idiots, in infants, like that we don't know. I mean, small children can see, through the bullshit right now. Like, everybody sees it. So let this shit unfold on its own. Do not let fear come in and take away your peace, right? And if you're going to be in the desert, I'm getting from spirit, then make sure that you're like in the desert of like consciousness, meaning like that you're trying to, like, you're in a form of solitude. And maybe this is a message for all of us, that during Cancer season, we need to take a little more time to ourselves. And especially for the parents out there, I'm getting from spirit, like, take care of each other. If you have a core unit, a family, whether you have, human children, furry children, all of the above, reptile children, you know what I mean? And literally and figuratively, right? Because not all reptilian, people are like, oh, the reptilians, Trump's a reptilian, all these evil people are reptilians. I'm like, my experience with reptilians are just like any other energy and entity out in the universe. There are good and there are not so good. So we cannot, and the fact that we're in the year of a snake, it's like, it's almost like, I feel like that's what they're saying, like, oh, look it's their year of the snake, we're going to rise. Because a lot of this power shit that happens with these groups, these elitist groups, have a lot of snake imagery, but so does a lot of healing, right? The Ouroboros and, what do they call it? I can never think of it. And then I don't want to say that because I'm putting it out there. But it didn't come to me right away. But you know what I'm talking about? That's like, for the healing, that symbol for healing, where it's like a staff with like two snakes intertwined, like coming up, right? It's like, it's about healing. So snakes are about healing and rebirth. and transformation and change. So we're going to see a lot of things. If they pull me to, I'll put a link below to this shorts they had me create. It's really powerful. And the music that I used is actually from Schindler's List, I believe. And when Spirit had me, put it together, it's just like I felt this feeling come over me where they're like, yes, we're going to see things. We're seeing things now. There's wars. There's things that are happening. But if you notice the big countries that have a lot of power, the biggest ones, right, in their eyes, are not in war right now. China's not in war. America's not in war. Russia is at war, but it's only at war with like itself, basically, right? Because the Ukraine is part of Russia. So I feel like if anything's going to happen, I feel like it's going to be within. And America, United States, whatever you want to call it, United States of America, we are so many different people from so many different backgrounds. And, that's why we started this country. This country was founded to like let people flee, any type of tyranny or whatever. And then, this guy said the other day, he goes, don't you think it's interesting? Like, basically he said in so many words, like that all like the red is like the red coats, right? And the Republicans are red, right? The red coats. And then they're like, and the MAGA hats are red, the red coats. It's like, it's always been here. It's always been the underlying. That's why there's more people protesting in the streets than there are people to fucking parade for a sad little wannabe king. And that's what it is. It's sad. It's fucking sad. And feel sorry for him and pray for him because, it's like, what is in you that wants to, like I've always known I was meant to be a leader. I was meant to be outspoken. Like I've always known that, when I started this, Spirit came through and played, Wild One by Susie Quattro. And, like I've always been that. Like I've felt it since my inception. Like I've had this like little hair up my ass ever since I always, it's, of course it's part of my chart, right? My energy, but it's also like this, I just want to laugh and be joyful and help others. And just, I want everyone to win, yet I was like raised and around so many people that were so competitive. It's hard for me to look back on some of my relationships with my friends and know how jealous they were of me. And for the most ridiculous reasons that it's like, but that's because you are you and I am me. Like, stop trying to be me, just be you. And one of my friends, I'm sure she'll never, or maybe she doesn't understand, maybe she does, but I had to let her go because like she needed her own spotlight. I feel like we would have always been in that energy. And I had shared something with them that was really personal to me of something that I was working on a project. And I told her the name of it. And then she named her pet that, her very next pet animal, familiar, like she literally named them that. And I was like, and it was not long after like, and I said to them, hey, and the reason why is because it was something that was never affiliated with them. It was always kind of like my thing. And I was done. After that, I was like, you know what? And I had friends over the years and family that were like, dude, don't you like see how much like they try to be you or they copy you or they use you, to get people to like, do things with them, like that you're going to show up so that they're going to be there. And I was like, oh, it's like my mom used to call it like the celebrity friend, 5757, another angel number, right? Like, it's like some people hang around with people just because they want to be part of it so bad, but they don't have the, and the sad thing is they were so cool and so awesome and so amazing. But they would say, this is me, this is me, this is me. But I'd be like, you say that's you, but I could feel that wasn't really them. And there was always this emptiness and this shadow that I couldn't understand. And as much as I loved them, I was like, I can't do this. Like, I got to get you out of my life. Like, I'm so sorry. So I feel like this is a message for somebody else. Like, and this is somebody that was, I was very blessed to have a lot of childhood friends. A lot, like lots, like double digits. So, if this is something that you're battling with, I feel you, but sometimes you got to branch out on your own. I still pray to this day that that person and I will find our way back to each other and have a, a good laugh or have a whatever, but they're always going to see things from their point of view and I'm going to see things from my point of view. But in the interim, as a telepathic medium, I also see, hear, and feel what both of our human our spirits, or you know what I mean? Like I'm hearing the full conversation and not just the parts that are coming out of their mouth or their expressions or their mannerisms. You hear me? You feel me? So some people, they just don't know how to be themselves. And if this is you, if this is your message, right? Like then Spirit is saying, then maybe it's time for you to step into your spotlight, and Cancer season is going to be for you, or Leo season, you know, because we've got this full moon in Sagittarius about seeing the bigger picture, and Sagittarius is a fire sign just like Leo. So let's see if we have any more cards and if they want us to go further into the book, because we're rounding up a nice hour here. So, okay, no more cards. Oh, they said like kind of at the beginning, like we had a bottom message for the beginning and we have a bottom message for the end. First quarter moon in Libra, keep your heart open and look at, it's the picture from the book. What? Keep your heart open. So the first quarter moon in Libra, let's see where it is in this story. Actually, well, I guess we could put that there because you guys know. Because I feel like it kind of wants to go here. I'm also feeling a pick a reading coming. First quarter moon in Libra. Let's see when that is. I want to make sure this card's not burning. Okay, first quarter moon in Libra. Because, you know, Libra goes from September to October. So let's see what we got. So it looks like the first quarter moon in Libra September to October. Oh, okay. It looks like it's going to be September 29th. Wow, that's so interesting. I have a family member's birthday's that day. Blood and bone. Okay, so also my eyes are going to October 13th, which is my mom's birthday. That's interesting because that's the third quarter moon in Libra is October 13th, but it's also Columbus Day, Indigenous Peoples Day, Thanksgiving Day in Canada, and something begins at sundown, but I can't see with my glasses and I don't know how to, but I feel like there's something October 13th. When does the World Series usually take place? Okay, I'm getting chills all over my body. Okay, so let's just put pins in that. I'm not writing them on the calendar, but I feel like that's for somebody. And maybe it's for all of us. Yeah, okay, it's for all of us. That no matter what happens between now and December 29th, that we have to keep our hearts open and keep like putting our good energy out into the universe, to all parts of ourselves, to all facets of ourselves, because we are one, whether, you know, people like it or not, you know, earth, school, like whatever, like we are all from different places in the universe and we come here, you know, so even if, let's just say they are reptilian, then there's like, they must have started coming here and like breeding here, you know what I mean? I literally heard that, you know, many moons ago, and over time it's, you know, devolved into this third dimensional consciousness of greed and sloth and you know, just rape, control, like this, like just because you can doesn't mean you should energy. So I'm feeling for sure that let them do what they're going to do, because Spirit is like, karma is, she has been waiting lifetimes for this. Literally. She has been waiting for this. She is prepared for this. We are prepared for this. We have been waiting for this. We need to stay together. We need to work together. Look at how these, like, it almost looks like the mountains like going up into the sky and like it's just coming right back down into here, right? Like they're like, don't let like the land and the sea and like the human, like they're like, don't let the tangible, you know what I mean? Like, don't let that get to you. Stay in the light. So maybe we'll see something around the first quarter moon in Libra. This does not mean to put any fear out there. That is absolutely not the point. The whole point is that the more you see, do not do the fear. And I love Cancer energy, but there's definitely like a, oh no, Cancer, right? Like I know so many people in my life that are Cancers or have a lot of heavy Cancer placement, and they are just the most loving, right? And I literally just heard like one of my friends who's a Cancer just go, like when you tell her something, they're like, oh no, you know, like, oh no, like this kind of like, but that's because that comes from an intense emotion of love and like, oh no, are you okay? Like what happened, right? So there's going to be a lot of sensitivity going on during this time. There's going to be a lot of things we're going to see that are going to happen. And, you know, summer is a very explosive time in America because, I mean, like 90% of, you know, the country is participating in some type of summer activity, right? Whether you live alone and you're planting your vegetables off in a mountaintop, or you live out, you know, in the desert homesteading, or you live in a city and, you know, you're going to festivals every week, whatever. It's like there's just a different energy that happens in the summer. It's very reminiscent of Christmas, which, you know, they call it Christmas in July, right? It's like the halfway point between like, you know, Christmas and whatever. So June 25th, I've been getting that energy a lot too for June 25th. So there could be something, which is also a 13 day, I believe. So I feel, and what do we say? Oh, because the new moon in Cancer. Thank you, Spirit. I don't have to look at the calendar. I remember now. So it's like, I feel like there's going to be like a brand new portal that is going to open up, and then it's going to lay the foundation, the energy of this softness and the sincerity and, you know, the emotions of Cancer. Because the brutal, like, dark side of Cancer is the opposite, right? So I have a family member who's a Cancer. My grandma, my witchy grandma that passed away, her birthday was 7/7. She was born in she was July 7th, 1930, which is such a cool number. And get it, 1930. I mean, when I see that, all I see is like 13, right? Because 1 and 9 is 10 plus 3 is 13. I'm like, my witchy grandma, she was so amazing. She's still amazing, but she's not, and you know, in her corporeal form, is that the word? Anyway, I digress. But the opposite side of Cancer is, you guessed it, anger. No, I don't want to feel my feelings. I'm gonna hide them. I'm gonna blah blah blah. I'm gonna be angry for the rest of my life. I'm not gonna show my sensitive side. And I have a family member that's just like that. And it's like, I don't know, like, I'm like, you're so different. Like, it's interesting. But also, right, we have moon, rising, sun signs. So there's a lot of things that could be with that too. And also a lot of rage that they were raised with. But if we don't heal that, right, that shit's going to come for us too. And this is the year that stuff's going to come. You know, I saw something with a little boy who had a heart attack after a baseball game. And I think that those are the things they want people to see, where they're like, you know, it's not just like, oh, you're this age, you can have a heart attack. It's like, oh, this age. Well, it's like, you know what? At any age, at any time, nothing is promised to us. When I looked down, it was 107.43. So that's also like 2 7s and a 1. So I feel like we are going to, this year, July is going to be like a turning point. And I feel like when we go out of spring and fall and go into summer and winter and the next few days, I feel like by the time the new moon in Cancer comes around, we're going to be looking at things through a completely different lens and a completely different scope. And I urge you over these next few days, whenever you watch this, they're always timeless, but in real time, and when you watch it, you know, just keep that energy, that momentum going to the next new moon, right? So you can set your intentions and put them out into the universe. But just keep manifesting. Your manifestations just get more heightened during certain times. That's all. They're always going to be there and present and beautiful, but they will be more heightened in certain areas than they will be in others, because of the energy that comes together with the moon energy, the sun energy, the planet energy, the solar system, the universe, right? So we are a co-collective. We are co-creators of our existence. So it's going to change and it's going to grow and it's going to evolve. So just be open to it. Okay. Let me see. Would you like us to, or is there anything in the books that you would like, in the book that you would like us to look at right now, from mantras or affirmations, anything? Would you like me to make any shorts or put anything in the post section for the tribe from the book today? Okay. Okay. Do we want to just go to channeled messages from Toad the What Sprocket? Okay. All right. So these are our messages, and I will keep them to the side for now. I'm actually going to keep this here because since it's the card, and then we'll have our cards behind if they want to talk to us. And this beautiful moonstone. I love this moonstone. I think Anna, you gave me this moonstone for the tribe. There it is. There it is. I always look for the, look at that heart in there. Look at that heart rainbow. Spirit saying, we love you. We love you. They're like, you guys, you got this. You got this. So let's see what extended messages, any channeled messages that we have from Toad the Wet Sprocket. So for those of you who are new here, I have a bunch of things in here, mostly words. I work mostly with words. Words and languaging are really big for us. And I'm thinking, let me see if they want me to. I think what I might do is move this here for now. And then, because then I can have a clear space. Let me see. Oops, sorry. Then I can have a clear space for here, and I'll see what goes. I've got garlic on there. I have to keep garlic on there for the critters. That little ant. I was like, why do the ants keep coming back, even with the garlic? I think the little ones can't smell or something, I swear. All right, so do we have any messages, Spirit? Anything? Okay, they're asking me to hold it this way, so there must be any messages that want to come out for anybody. Ooh, cake. Remember when we were saying to open, or like if you're meant to have a, okay, oh wow, okay, they had me do a full-on, okay, so let's see what we got. Ooh, this is fun. Okay, so we've got cake. And I feel like they're going to have me put them here. My eyes went to good. Good. Okay. Then select only simple. And this came from a thing that was like select only simple ingredients. So I feel like I'm going to put this over here with the cake because that's where it went. And my eyes went to these two, and I feel like these two might even be its own message, but take from it what you need. Ooh, we have an E. It could be a comb. That's so weird. I just saw a comb. So it could be a hair comb, or maybe you use a comb. I have no idea. Maybe you want to get your hair done, or you've been thinking about it. I heard, yes, do it. Take an adventure. It's just hair. It'll grow back. Also, this could be an M or a W or an E. Okay. Most likely an E, but like, I still take that stuff for what it is. Okay. Because when it can be something, then I take it as something. This is source. So I don't know. This felt like, oh, I feel like this wanted to be with this. So I'm going to put this over here. My eyes just went to 40%. I'll put that here. Blueberry. This came up in one of our other readings. Oh my gosh, nutty. Okay. All right. Ooh, 5. Also, 5s are good. They're about change and transformation. And it's also like, I feel like for some of you, like you could be like at a halfway point. Bars. Now, when I saw bars, you guys, now you could take this any way you want, but I saw cake, like, meaning like maybe you're somebody who makes cakes and you've been trying to think, my eyes went to this one. Oh, I just heard great cake, great bars. But I'm hearing, could you turn them into bars? Meaning like a treat bar instead of like a cake pop, or like maybe you could do something like, I'm seeing like a cake, almost like a ding dong, right? But like a healthy one that's like, oh my gosh, you guys, rapid. And I saw this over here. This wants to go to the left. Ooh, leave. Okay. Creating great tasting food. I'm telling you, some of you guys, this is your calling. This is your calling. Made in Portland, Oregon. This, you guys, I have like 5 or 6 different of these because I live in the Pacific Northwest and I try to eat as local as possible. And this is from a Honey Mama's So because I know where it's from, I'm going to put it over here. So it could even be like, this is a sign for you. Also, I just heard for some of you, wherever you live now, I feel like it's a beginning of something else. Let me explain. I feel like wherever you are, you're learning how to source whatever it is. Oh, I'm getting the chills all over my body. You're learning how to source what you're going to make. So like whether it's a work trade or you moved somewhere because you wanted to see what it was like and you're like, I don't know why I'm here, but like you like the job, but you don't like the place. I feel like you're there for a reason. Like you're there to learn something and to grow. Oh my gosh, this says open. Yes, like be open. I'm hearing be open to whatever comes your way. Now I'm going to do this in a minute. Okay, so no worries. But for now, I'm being really drawn to like keep it in that position. Okay, this one is in half. So I'm going to take that as, it must have gotten that way because I don't put it in there like that. Common ground. But look it was like, it's almost like, so I feel like maybe you're fighting with somebody. You're on one side, they're on the other, or maybe you're trying to go into business with somebody, but I'm hearing you need to find a common ground. And they're having me put it by the, oh, look at that. They're having me put it by the initial. And it could even, the initial could be for your company, you know, evolve. I just heard evolve. Maybe maybe you need to evolve on your own. You know, we got leave over here, you know. This is up. But sometimes when I look at this one, I feel like it's also like a D and an N. So this could be initials, D and N, or up might mean something. I'm going to put that over here. Ooh, I just heard Upper Peninsula and I saw Michigan. So maybe if you're somebody who lives in Michigan, they're like the world you're looking for, or like, oh my gosh, you guys, I just got something really powerful. Hold on. Drink some water if you haven't. And if not, pause this and go and get some water. Stay hydrated, especially in the summer and the winter. Because winter, right, you get, oh, I just want tea or whatever. But you're like, you need water too. Tea is awesome, but you need just straight up water. Okay. They said, because tea is like your body's like working. You know what I mean? So I just got this vibe for some of you, at least one person. This is really strongly coming through, that what you want to do is like, you know that old saying, whatever you're searching is searching for you too. Oh, look at that. They had me specifically put that quartz crystal there. But I'm hearing that some of you are like literally meant to like either start a town or like bring a town back to life. This has been something that's been coming up a lot because a lot of people are like fleeing cities, but they don't want to live like totally in the middle of nowhere, and they don't want to live in the suburbs. So you're seeing this a lot where these smaller towns, people are coming in and then like other, you know, people come to visit and then they like it and then they move there, you know? And so I feel like if this is something that you've been wanting to do, but you're like, I don't know, what would I do up there? Or blah, blah, blah. They're like, but if you live small, like, let's just say, when I look down, it was 117.47. You know, 17 is a big number for our channel. And 47 is, I always see an angel number because it's 11. So I feel like, and it's 1. So I feel like this is a new beginning for you. This is really big. And I feel like for the next 2 to 3 years, it's going to happen, but you have got to put it in. And this is a message for all of us. Like, it's going to happen, but you have to put it like out there. You have to put it into your wheelhouse. By the way, I just found this on the floor, and this has been coming up a lot for us lately. I didn't even know this fell out. And Spirit Juma, if you knew where it was, like, I was really drawn to it. So I feel like for some of you, like, December it's a real thing. Like, it's a time frame. And I feel like they want it back here because it's not that it's not going to happen. It is going to happen. And it might not even be this December. But I feel like for some of you, let's just say if you are somebody who wants to live in the UP. Okay, so like the Upper Peninsula is really cold in the winter. It's not very big on tourists. But let me tell you something. Where I live in the Puget Sound, like there are little islands, like San Juan Islands, are a perfect example where I met this woman once who she just looked like she had money. You know, some people you could just tell, and not that kind of like, look at me, I have money, but just like natural, like good fibers, like just everything she was wearing was like good quality, like her makeup, everything. She was beautiful. We ended up having this amazing conversation, and she told me this whole story about how I think she was like a New Yorker, and like, and how she slowly made her way to the Pacific Northwest. And she had a lot of money. I think she like cashed out of her company or something when she was like in her late 40s, early 50s. When I met her, she was probably in her late 60s, early 70s. But she was one of those kind of ladies that she could have told me she was 65 and I would have believed her. She would have told me she was 85 and I would have believed her, you know, like that kind of thing. So she said, you know, because I was working um, as a wardrobe stylist at this place, and I also was a designer, and my designs were in the store. My jewelry line was in the store. So like I was like, well, I'm building towards something. She's like, yeah, but you're still like, yeah, your stuff is here, but she's like, you know, imagine if you were doing this and not working for somebody else, you know. And because she noticed while she was there shopping, because she doesn't, you know, get off the island much. She was on vacation, and this was when I was living in Portland, Oregon. And funnily enough, Portland, Oregon, made in Portland, Oregon, ha ha ha, right? Like, she said, "You're doing all this work for somebody else, but you know, I've been watching you. You know, we had this huge like summer sale. It was like the end of the summer sale kind of thing, and because she'd had her business for so long on Orcas Island, she could take like a mini trip and have people like work for her. But she said to me, and she even like gave me her card and said, if you ever want to come work for me and you ever want to come live on the island, like, you know, and we kept in contact for a long time. Like I emailed her right away because I was like, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know. This before I met Alder. This is before I was like fully into my gifts and stuff yet. But the baseline of the story is that she said, I worked so hard for so many years, and then I took my money and I invested in myself. And she said that for years it was hard, but when she knew she wanted to live on Orcas Island, she knew she had to build something that was so special that would, you know, she needed to make all of her money in one like time. So she is literally, her store is only open from May to October. That's it. The rest of the time, she doesn't work. She, in February, I think she said, she goes and travels abroad to bring things to her store. And that's why her store does so well, because she is like this kind of like everything store, but like beautiful clothing and beautiful textiles. And I forget the name of the store and I don't know if it's still there, but you know, she said that she did it in a way that she learned over time where the money was and how she could like make more back on her investment. And then I think she bought the building, you know, that she had her store in, you know what I mean? Like, but it took her time. It took her time, and she had to do it bit by bit, bit by bit. So I feel like Spirit's trying to talk to you guys and say that like there must be something. I'm going to take a screenshot. Um, there must be something that you love. We're going to get to those other ones in a minute. Um, but I feel like this is a lot of messages in one, but don't make it your story if it's not your story kind of thing. And maybe this is just for one person, but like insert your story. Like maybe this is somebody who wants to do baked goods, but maybe for you, you want to, you know, I know one of our tribe members, like, you know, they want to create divination tools, right? So, you know, if you want to get yourself out there, it's more than just like online. People love touching things, being in person. That's why people travel. That's why people, you know, do certain things, because they want to have a great experience in the energy of where they are. So be mindful of where you're living. Like, does your story or your dreams align with the story that you're in and the place that you're at? Maybe you're meant to go and revive a town. There's this little old coal miner town up on Mount Rainier, and I just saw this article and I was like, oh, Alder. I'm like, did you hear that like the bridge is out, and like, you know, you can't get across now. Like, and so it was, you know, interesting. And the article was about that these people have spent the last like 10 or 15 years reviving this town. And people are like, oh shit, like, what are you going to do now? They're like, well, people will still go. They can't like go across the bridge, but like they can still go. The bridge went across like this big cavern and like river, right? So like, they're like, they can't go to the other side, and the other side can't come here from that way, you know, but they're really fortunate because the town part is what they revived, and on the other side of the bridge is just going down the other side of the mountain. So they're like, there's not really much there. I mean, it sucks for the people who live up there on the other side of the mountain, you know what I mean? That sucks. And I know, because we've met people up there. But it just, it, you know, you never know. And she said, now we've, like, their pizza has become so famous. She's like, that, like, we've become the destination. So don't shortchange yourself. You're powerful, you're gifted, and light workers come in all shapes and sizes, right? So wait, hold on, I gotta turn my heater off. I'm like, it's so hot in here. And I just realized it's like almost noon. Right? So the transition in forgiveness is to forgive like what you haven't done and be okay with it, and transition out of that dream and fantasy, and transition into like who and what you really are and what you really want. By the way, they had me put this bloodstone in this rock here, so you may want to work with bloodstone. These other crystals are here and you can see them, but like if you notice, like I kind of had a pattern like with like the colors, and I specifically like was drawn to put these down here. So, you know, I'm hearing like get grounded. Look at, talk about scrying, right? Get grounded, get out there, and, you know, and keep talking to spirit, and keep talking your world into being. Keep talking your dreams into being until they actually become what they're meant to be. You know, we wouldn't be given these dreams and these, like, you know, we wouldn't be given these things if we weren't meant to use them and utilize them. Okay. So I'm going to put these, that one fell. So I feel like maybe they want me to do that for something. So there's that message. And now I'm going to make space for the other one, for the other messages to come through. Also, this one is really calling to me. Luminescence. Luminescent. I feel like Spirit's saying, like, you are luminescent. Like, you have this gift. Also, look at this. Look at these two, like, connected to each other. This feather. I was going to pull because I feel like the birds were trying to talk to you guys. But, oh, look at that. Look what they pulled out. Dreaming. Yes. Dreaming. And on the back, it says, oh, an addition in Washington State. So maybe even for some of you, maybe you're meant to come up here into the Pacific Northwest where I live. You know, I've always said I wanted to start my own little, like, you know, culture. And so I had a breakthrough myself this morning, and I'm feeling that what Spirit is trying to show me, it was such a huge breakthrough that I realized that I'm like, this is exactly what I needed from Spirit. Like, this is exactly what I needed. Now, I know I'm being a little cryptic, but when it's time to share, I will. Okay, so here, now your messages. Okay, renewing. Oh my gosh. And again, this was part of that shorts. It's a really beautiful message from Spirit, but renewing, this little piece of paper was in there. We're raising the bar. Oh my gosh. Did I not just put something away that said bars? We're raising the bars, plural. We're raising and as long as we keep our dreams alive, we'll keep raising the bars. They want us to not live in our dream. You hear me? Like, they want us to be afraid of them. They want us to be scared. They want us to think we have no power, just like fucking demons. What do you think is running this roost? You know what I'm saying? Without gratitude, oh boy. Ooh, so this is connected to number 5. Interesting. Without gratitude, there is no prosperity. Yeah, this is from a Yogi Tea. So what is, and I'm also hearing yoga. Get in shape. Like, I've been feeling that lately. Like, I like feeling strong. I like feeling good. Alder and my landlord, like, nobody has worked on this property in like 2 weeks but me. And I'll tell you what, I'm I've been breaking out in hives. I've been getting bit. I mean, there's certain things that I don't love about it, but I will say this. And then the other day I was like, I'm strong. Like, I could feel how strong I am. Things that I'd be like, Alder, can you do that for me? Now I'm like, I can do that. He's like, you can pick that up. I'm like, yep. And I like pick up the big 5-gallon water jugs, and I'm like carrying them across he's like, holy shit. I can see that he's like, wow, because when we get to a certain point, we've got to raise the bar. And right now on our health and all of that stuff, like we've got to raise the bar. Brightest. Yes, because we are the biggest and the brightest that the universe has ever seen. All of us that are here right now, if you found yourself on this reading, we're the creme de la creme. Creme de la creme. We are the light workers, the healers, and the deep down believers in magic. We are the angels and the witches. And, like, we're setting this shit straight. We are the warriors of light. And this says, hold on, I can't, it's so tiny. Virgin. Interesting. There could be some of you, the reason why you're feeling fear, I just heard from spirit, is that it's like you've been preparing for this your whole life. You know what I mean? Like, that's the vibe I'm getting from spirit. Like you've been preparing for this for your whole life, but it's like now it's really happening. And some of you are like, holy shit. And that's why they're like, keep your, we'll go back here for a second. Keep your heart open. Because the fear is only going to, look at that. The fear is only going to like rule your world if you allow it to, right? Like there's some cracks going on right now. That's why they have me bring it in, right? There's some cracks, but right now, like I have it taped really well. It's fine, and what is meant to break will break, and what is meant to, grow will grow. But they're saying like fear is not an option at this point. And I almost feel like they're trying to say like better. Okay, I just want to make sure. I feel like there's one over here. Did I miss one? Didn't we, did one drop, or did it drop when I was looking for it? Oh, it did. I knew it. Oh, it's the creating great tasting food. Yes. Like, I miss ding dongs. Can you please make a ding dong that I can eat that is healthy? That is like 100% healthy. Can you do that? That would be awesome. Oh my gosh, you guys. That's what they're saying. Everybody's got a dream. What's your dream? And renewing. Maybe it's a dream that you had before that they're saying bring it back. Look at this cute little rock. I mean, we were at the water yesterday and there's like a million things that I could have picked up. Look at that. But I was so drawn to this. It was a little rock that was like, we were sitting on a piece of driftwood when we were having our treat. And, oh, look, there's me. Hi. Right. But I was so drawn to bring that in. Hold on. I'm trying to get this in focus. Okay. When I looked down, it was 132.13. All right. So that's enough for today. Thank you so much, you guys. So we are the biggest, the best, and the brightest. We are part of a collective of souls that are here to heal and change. Fear is not an option for us. It's just not an option. And when it starts to come in, remember to keep your heart open and call spirit, right? Like shit happens. Things will happen in front of our face that are going to be horrific, or we'll cry, or we'll see, you know what I mean? But also you have to remember with the AI generated, like this is something, think about this. The light and the shadow have been fighting since the dawn of time, right? So they invent something or bring something to the table. We bring something to the table, invent something, and try and, heal it, fix it. You know what I mean? And then they do it, and then we do it. Then they do it, then we do it. So that's all that's been happening. And then another layer, and another layer, and another layer, and another layer. And so they're showing us that with this future of like where we are headed, this manifestation is like they will be gone. Like these things will die out because they have to, because it's just part of it. And so every time we, like right now, like we're fighting with this, that's why that guy's like, in the way things go, he's going to retaliate, because that's what bullies do. That's what narcissists do. When they get exposed for their weakness, or they get exposed for their lies, then, they can't, it's like they can't. it doesn't exist. You know what I'm saying? It's like to them, weakness doesn't, they can't show weakness. You know what I'm saying? And that's a very dangerous place to be when you're so worried about what other people think of you that you have to keep creating lies and stories and mythical, things just so that people, but we're all seeing the truth as we're seeing it too. And that can even be a very like kind of quote unquote, not dangerous, but like interesting thing too, because what is one person's reality isn't going to be another person's reality, right? As I'm kind of fucking with this, as it's out of focus. But is it out of focus? Because the crystals aren't out of focus, but that picture's out of focus. But if I put the picture in focus, now the crystals look like they're out of focus, right? So it's just like, it's a trick of the eye. It's a trick of illusion. It's a trick of lighting. So I think you understand. All right, Spirit, do we have any more messages? Oh, I love when we have the channeled messages like that. That's really fun. I hope they'll have me put in some timestamps for people. This was a long one. It was a good one, but it was a long one. Okay, do we have any more messages for the collective at this time? Oops, sorry. I just wanted to kind of end on that. Do we have any more messages for the collective at this time? Nope. I'm going to ring a few bells on our way out, and I just want to say thank you to you and your guides, and thank you to myself and my guides and all those who were here with us today and who will carry on with us when we leave. We are in deep gratitude. I'm going to put this back on to the wet sprocket. So let's take in some deep breaths, and I'm going to ring some bells. In through the nose. Out through the mouth. Until next time, take good care of yourselves and each other. We love you so much. Blessed be. Aho.